Hello out there and welcome back to the University of Aesthetics channel. My name is Evan and I'm going to be taking you through 3 tips to help you stay injury free in the weight room. So if you're a bodybuilder, if you're just into fitness, if you're into trying to make yourself healthier, I think these 3 tips will help benefit you in the long run in some way. So what's the one thing that you don't want to have happen when you're into a workout regimen? And that's getting injured. You never want to get hurt. So I think these 3 tips will really help, and without further ado, let's get started. This is going to be a pretty fast video. I just want to get through these nice and quick and just give you guys this information. So tip number 1 is going to be warm up and stretch. So before you begin any type of workout, you want to get some blood flow into the muscles that you're going to be working. So let's say we're going to do a leg day. I might go on the stair mill or the treadmill or some type of bike and just get some blood flowing into my legs and get those muscles that are going to be doing the activity, get them activated, get that mind muscle connection started to go, and really just get some blood flowing into that muscle group. So if you're going to do shoulders, maybe doing some lateral raise or some rotator cuff work, which I showed in one of my last videos for the chest day, some of the warm-up exercises that I do before I start a chest workout. So warming up, before you begin any type of workout, you want to warm up. So that could be a dynamic warm-up, like I said. But you don't want to stretch before you work out, or it's not as recommended. So I know maybe in your gym classes in high school and stuff like that, you would have done stretching before exercise. The research kind of shows that we would rather have that stretching come in after you exercise. So we want to stick to the dynamic warm-up pre-exercise and then some type of stretching after exercise. So, and I know there's probably different research that contradicts that or whatever, but just kind of like a basis, just getting that warm-up in, make sure you do that before you work out, and then it's also helpful to do the stretching after you work out. So I gave some examples just now for warm-up, but for the stretching, you could do, any type of static stretch. So, your in-place stretching, which I showed in my last video, the chest and hamstring workout video. I do some stretching in there, some static stretching. Another form you could do if you have a workout partner would be PNF stretching, which is proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation. And with that stretching, you're just going to do a series of contraction, relaxation, and then a little bit more stretching. So if you were going to work the hamstrings, your partner would stretch your hamstring a little bit to a point where you feel like it's not comfortable to go any further, and you would resist their push on your leg. And then after you resist for anywhere from 6 to 10 seconds, then you relax, and they should be able to push your leg a little bit further back, and then you do that maybe 3 times. And that's one way that you can use your partner to help you stretch as well. So those are just a couple different types of stretching. Also, if you like to do yoga, maybe taking some of the poses from yoga and incorporating them into your daily routine. So warm up and stretching is very important. You don't want to go in and just smash heavy weight when your muscles are cold. You're more prone to injury that way, and you might not have as good of a mind muscle connection for building the muscles. So it's really important to get those muscles warmed up as well as get them stretched out. So that's one tip that I wish I knew when I first started, because for me it was more just like I was eager to get in there and get going. So I would maybe do one warm-up set before I'd go into heavy sets on bench or something like that, and it just wasn't that good for me or anyone in the long run. So the next tip that I'm going to put up here is using correct form. So use correct form, and this one might seem very self-explanatory. It might seem like obviously that's a no-brainer, you want to use correct form, but you'd be surprised at how many people do not use correct form, and there's a few different reasons. One of them would be ego lifting. A lot of times you see guys in the weight room and somebody comes in, they're trying to impress, they'll load up the bar and they're arching their back really far up, and they're just trying to move the weight. They're not really focused on actually building that muscle. So you really don't want to ego lift. You can cause injury from doing that, from just lifting too much weight, maybe something more than what you could actually do. and hurting yourself that way. Also, with that correct form, you want to make sure they're using a full range of motion. So, you don't want a half rep. And on some exercises, you want to make sure that, like a fly, you're not going, way past parallel with your arms in that fly. There's obviously different exceptions to that, but, having a full range of motion is going to be better for hypertrophy as well as, just maintaining injury free. You're going to have that flexibility, that mobility, which is going to be very important. So full range of motion is very important with the correct form, as well as not ego lifting. And then also with that, you can incorporate, you want to have a good rep tempo. So rep tempo, just referring to the speed that you're doing your reps. You want to have good control and, really think about that eccentric motion as well. So you have, if you were doing a press, you have concentric, and then you have your eccentric, which is your negative. And you can, really recruit a lot of fibers on that eccentric as well. So having good control on the way down, you don't want to be repping things out really fast, and just, the more control you have and the slower you go, the better mind-muscle connection, and therefore, in my opinion, the more potential for muscle growth as well. Obviously, there's a place for that speed. If you're really focused on strength training and powerlifting, that speed is going to be a lot more important. You're not so focused on building the muscle as much as just moving the weight. But as far as bodybuilding goes and actually, building quality muscle, it's very important to have good control as well as a full range of motion and a little bit slower rep tempo, really feeling each contraction. So all of those things kind of combine into that realm of correct form. So, correct form is one of those, like I said, it seems like a no-brainer, but if you really think about it, there's a few different components to it that you want to make sure you have in check, and those will all kind of help to prevent injury. So I think ego lifting is the biggest one, though, as far as preventing injury. A lot of people just try to lift way too much, and their form is not very good. So, make sure that you're lifting for the right reasons and you're really focused on what you're doing. So that was tip number 2. Tip number 3 is let your body recover. So for this one, this one also may seem like a no-brainer, letting your body recover. Obviously, that's important. But as far as injuries go, let's say that you're doing, some skull crushers and you notice that your elbow is a little bit tight. There's a little bit of pain there. It's just a little bit tender. And you have basically 2 options. You can either let that rest and, maybe stop training triceps that day. And the next time you're supposed to train triceps, you back off and maybe don't train them at all, or maybe just use some bands, just something really light. That's option 1. Option 2 is, I don't want to go backwards. I've been putting a lot of work into this, so I'm just gonna say screw it and keep training these triceps really hard and fight through the pain. So you have 2 options there. Which one's gonna be better for you? Hopefully you would choose option number 1, which is letting that tricep and that elbow recover. One thing that happens a lot of the time is you get kind of addicted to the whole process, and you kind of get that anxiety, like, I don't want to go backwards. I've been putting in all this work, but what can happen in the long run then is you push it too hard, and then your tricep is completely, or your elbow is just messed up, and you can't do arms at all. So if you give your body that time to rest, then it'll heal up, and you'll be able to come back and work out harder, faster than you would if you completely went through it, destroyed your tricep, and then you couldn't train at all for months. So it's just kind of weighing out the pros and cons there, and just letting your body ultimately recover when you feel like you need it. So that's going to be huge in preventing injury, especially if you feel like you have an injury coming on. I mentioned, and I referred to my shoulder injury. I had tried to push through that for a long time, and if I would have maybe just given myself a week off to recover fully right after it happened, maybe it would have been back to normal in a couple weeks. But instead, I tried to push through it, and it just lingered, and I still have issues with it to this day, and it happened like 3 years ago. So if I would have just given it that time, I think I would have been able to come back a lot faster and have my shoulder kind of back to normal. So it's important to, like I said, just let that recover, rest, and giving your body everything it needs to just be healthier. So hopefully these 3 tips will help you out. These are 3 things that I wish I knew when I first started working out. And the sport, not only just the sport of bodybuilding, but just working out in general is about longevity. It's about making your body and everything, health in general covers a lot more than just fitness. And part of health is feeling good about yourself and being in the optimal shape and everything like that. And if you're dealing with injuries and stuff, you're not really in the most optimal shape, and you haven't really achieved the optimal health. So it's important to really take care of your body. And I feel like these tips are very important, and I think that they will help you really to kind of master your health and really establish that longevity in not only the sport of bodybuilding, but also just in health, fitness, and every aspect in general. So, warm up and stretching is very important. Obviously, correct form, and then just letting your body do its thing and recover when you feel like you need it to. Your body will tell you when it needs rest, and if you have an injury and if you have constant pain, it's gonna, your body wants you to rest and recover. So, hopefully these tips will help you out, and I'm going to be looking to put up a video covering micronutrients soon. So I know one thing that gets neglected as far as talking about nutrition, you have your macronutrients, so your carbs, fats, and proteins, but a lot of times the micronutrients get kind of left behind. So I want to make a video talking about micronutrients and really just the importance of fruits and vegetables. So that video should be coming soon. And hopefully I've narrowed down a microphone that I want to get for my interviews, so I just need to save up some money, get that, and I'll get these interviews coming out with some of the local competitors. But other than that, stay tuned for more footage, more tips, more workout videos, and just everything, all the information that I can share to you guys to help you out. I'm finishing up my undergrad here at the University of Wisconsin-Platteville, and all this information is so fresh to me. I want to put it out and share with it as much as I can, to help other people out. So hopefully these 3 tips can help you in some way. Maybe if you already have correct form and you're already warming up and stretching, maybe this tip here, letting your body recover, is something that you hadn't really thought of and hadn't really incorporated into your life. So hopefully somebody can help from these different tips out there. So thank you for watching. Like the video if you liked it, hit the thumbs up, and subscribe if you want to see some more of the content that I have coming out soon. And yeah, just thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and have a good holiday season if you don't see a video before then. But thanks again.